ladies,
I'm like,
and Happy New Year.
here.
And just like that is 2026. We are back.
Did we get
Welcome
to
to, yes, welcome to another season and the first episode of 2026 of All About Moments.
yeah. A lot of
Yes,
people in the road
yes.
button.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here with you all. Happy New Year, Princess. Happy New Year, Mary Mac. How y'all doing?
Learn state.
Good.
The
Very
nice
good.
break.
Very
I'm glad to be back.
Yes. What break? I didn't even notice a break. I'm so glad to be back with you all and get this year started off strong. All right. Amen. Just wanting to we're gonna start it off a little strong. We're gonna go ahead and put it on out there. And we just want to talk about the first episode is married but single. Single but married. And I know somebody out there looking around and saying, Aisha, how does that work? Aisha, how you single but married? And how you married but single? Make that make sense. And in a word for that, and it called something. Well, it is. It is a word for it. It's called separation. It is. But within that, you are trying to figure things out within that level, whether you want to stay married or whether you're going to be single. That's the middle part of it. That's the word. That's what it is. But we're going to try to help make sense of all of this. Because while you're still married, people are feeling lonely. And while you are trying to make your marriage work or make things go the way they should, you are feeling alone. You are feeling unappreciated. You feel that, you're not the number one priority. It ain't, it feel like you ain't got your old thing back. So we want to give some light or help understand what it is between marriage and single but married. Okay? Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Think so. Think so.
Okay, okay. All right, all right. Let's try to make all of this tie in to what it should be.
Yeah. Well, when I think of feeling single in your marriage, right? It has a lot to do with just feeling emotionally neglected, right? That you're married on paper, and it has nothing to do with infidelity or them stepping out or anything like that, but just feeling emotionally neglected, feeling being independent within your marriage. You're doing things alone, like you have separate lives, right? About talks about you feel one and you don't feel one, you feel like two separate people, right? The person is not reading or reading, you feel very alone. And so it really just makes me think of a lot of, I stay online on the social medias and the topic of why a lot of women initiate divorce, right? And men are always so surprised, right? About like women asking for divorce. And if you take away from like infidelity, right, or abuse, most women initiate divorce because they feel single in their marriage, right? They are either feeling lonely, there's that emotional disconnect, or they are doing things alone in their marriage. They don't have that support. Like if they have kids together, they, are the default parent. They are the primary parent. And a lot of men feel like they babysitters. I remember watching a video and this woman was complaining of how she had run out of PTO because every time her kids got sick, she would have to take off and she had to use her PTO. And how her husband just took a whole week off just to sit at the home. And all of the women on him was like, well, why didn't you tell your husband to take off when the kids were sick. And I think that's the issue. Why did she leave her husband to take off? Is he not a parent? Does he not see that like somebody has to be home with the kids? So why isn't all this hurt? So here she is using up her PTO, taking on the sick child, where he took up a whole week just to lay around on the couch, relax. And she has no PTO for herself to relax, to go on vacation, just to chill. Her PTO is used up taking care of a sick child.
I would say that's kind of sad because I feel like that PTO should have worked both ways. They both should have taken time off and alternate, like you said, alternate, like you said. But I wanted to just throw out this discretion. This episode is not about judgment. It's about awareness. Hopefully, I think we're just bringing out awareness and about emotional.
Well, we're not judging. I'm a judge. I don't know what you're talking about.
I hope it's not about, I don't like, because some people are probably in the situation. We don't want to judge them for what they're in, right?
I'm judging her husband that went on and took that PTO and didn't take off to be with his child when it was sick. I don't think you're not judging. I'm a judge.
It's just, it's sad that all the weight is usually put on one parent or one person in the marriage. Like one, it's just sad. It's sad. That's all I can say. It's sad. Like, how is it that you feel lonely? Loneliness can exist when even somebody's present right beside you. That's sad. So you might as well not even have somebody in the room with you if that's how you feel. That's just sad. I have nothing else to say to because I know I was doing the research with everyone else on it and trying to figure out what can I really say about it. And all the research I was looking up, I was just saddened by reading up, even looking on social media, watching some videos. I was more saddened than anything. Because, and the sad thing about it too is, again, I might be wrong, I might be right, but the research that I was pulling up, it was mostly women that were going through this. And I did see like one or two of men. So, but that's it to see. That's all I have to say right now. That's my, I mean, yeah. What is the purpose of being married? What's the purpose of being married if you're going to be lonely?
I thought you said that's all you had to say.
That's all I have to say. You're on mute, Mary.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying she had more. There was more in there.
Right. It was like, here you go. You looks like you have more to say. Yeah, I mean, I can agree with Abby. Yes, it is sad for sure that, you are in a partnership and then your partner decides that they want to, be selfish when it's time to really put their hands to the plow, especially, when it comes to a family. You know what I mean? So it's different when it's just the two of y'all and y'all coming together to, be boyfriend or girlfriend or however. But then when you decide to share lives together and, extend yourselves into families, it does become a little bit more like you got to extend yourself, not just physically, but you also got to extend yourself emotionally as well. Because we as women, we change, we evolve, even within the relationships, you know what I mean? Even before children or after children, we change. We try to reach our highest self all the time. And not saying that men don't either, because that's not true. I'm sure that it could be the vice versa, where men are evolving and women are just, we as women, we just, oh, everything is good. I'm fine. And this man is trying to find a different level of himself as well. We can be one sided with our opinions as well. So, it is sad when, you have a partner who doesn't move in such a way that you feel like they should to support you and to support your family. Cause you like, come on, dog. Like, we're supposed to do this together. And you not seeing that I'm struggling or that I'm hurting or need some assistance or some support is not cool. And because of this, you may just have to leave because you're not giving what it's supposed to give. You're not giving husband. You're not giving wife. So yeah, and then they got to take some accountability and some self awareness. What would you say that looks like, um, princess? What would you say that looks like? Some self awareness and accountability.
Good
Did I
question.
skip over something?
I think what self awareness. Well, probably what it would look like because I feel like everybody's relationship is different. But I feel like communication to give me that's what I'm feeling in my mind would be a way to if you need help or gotta communicate. And it goes both ways. One person can't communicate and the other person not listening. That is how it's one person can't be talking, the other's not listening. But self-awareness. So self-awareness for somebody who's single but married, I feel like would look like they need to really figure out what do they want and talk to that person. Married but single, same thing. They need to figure out what they want to talk to the person. And this again, the sad thing is a lot of times, even if they talk to that person, they don't listen. They just say okay or next topic. So I honestly I don't know what it looks like. Because even if they communicate, this topic is just it's a lot. That's what to say. I don't know. What about you, Mary? What does that look like too? Because
I think communication is, if you're right, I think communication is important. I think you have to communicate what your needs are. But I think you start that communication usually before you get married. Like, what does marriage mean to them, right? What does that look like? Um, are they, are they supportive? Are they communicating? Um, are they, emotionally there for you while you're dating, right? Because that's not going to change just because you get married. And so, are those things there while you are dating and while you are engaged? Because I think a lot of times with women, bring it to we date for potential, right? And we date this person or engage with this person, and they're not, they don't meet the criteria. They don't meet all our needs, and we hope that maybe we say those vows and things will change, and then and are going to be that same as that person. So do they show you all those things that you need while you're dating and while you're engaged? Because that's not going to massively change when you say those vows.
Yes, that's very good that you say that. Because that brings me to, are you playing roles, or are you taking this as a serious commitment? You know, are you doing this? Are you playing husband? Are you playing wife? Are you just like the title? Are you honestly being committed to this person, understanding what the vows you said and how you said it and what you're, standing on? Because what I often say, like, these people who come to your wedding, these are not just guests that, people that you love. These are also witnesses of people who have seen your love grow, have seen you with this person, from basically from the inside out. I mean, from the outside in, but, able to attest to like this couple. Yes, I can see them standing the test of time and, kind of holding you accountable, I feel like, to those vows as well. And no, it's not, their business or judgment whether you make a decision that's right or wrong, or, I mean, no, not even right or wrong, but just taking those vows seriously for yourself within your marriage. And then also the people who witness it as well. That's what I think.
But I mean, like, when you talk about, like, having mentioned, you can communicate what you're looking for, and if that person is still doesn't put in the effort to make those changes, right? Then you have to make a decision. Are you going to stay in this marriage and be miserable and be lonely? Or are you going to leave?
Right.
That's
That's
definitely
true.
what that is, right?
That's
But if that person decides like, yeah, they want to change, they want to do the work, okay, then we need to go on this journey, right? We like to do the work, right? But if they're just like, no, this is who I am, then you have to make a decision.
that's true. And they have to, I guess, maybe prove themselves, or even you have to prove yourself, you know, during that time. What about the single but married? I know we talked about married but single, but what about the single but married, where it's more like, I guess we already talked about labels and partnerships and commitment and different things, but this is more like emotional. You know, when you're single, you haven't yet made a commitment to this person, but you're sharing a lot of intimate, emotional support or emotional needs. What when you're it has it's been a while for me, but when that closeness, you're trying to like understand what this person is saying, like, are you trying to be with me, or are you trying to make a commitment, but you only trying to make a commitment, like you doing that game, you playing that player game, that's emotional. That should be a red flag, first of all. But
Well, I
it's
think
saying,
that's all, but it's just the emotional commitment without the marriage.
right, but you're not together with the potential of maybe being together. You see what I'm
We need
saying? You're
together in what way?
like a partnership, like you're a well, I guess in this situation, there's no labels to it. You are just
When you're in a situationship.
right. You're in a situationship.
Oh, well, I mean,
I think
that's for each person. I mean, that's up to them. They want to be in a situationship. But I think you have to, I think, the problem with people is that they can't communicate and there's no honesty and transparency. And so we need to state the type of relationship we want. And so if the person was like, look, I don't agree with labels. I don't want to be in no like standard relationship. I don't mind us being close. I don't mind us being casual. I don't mind us being in a situationship, but just be honest about it. And then that person has to decide, do I want to be in a situationship? That's up to them. And you have to know what comes with that. Like you can't expect more from a situationship. You can expect a relationship if you're in a situationship. If
that's
that person,
true.
and so you just need to know, like, this is what I'm in. And that's it. I'm not going to expect my man, expect my situationship for acting like my husband. Why? Because he ain't my husband. But there are people who are like, who have been in long-term relationships, who are committed to each other, but
Yes.
they're not married by now. And that's, we can talk about celebrities who've done that. And Goldie Hawn and what's her name? Or whatever, Goldie Hawn, whatever her boyfriend, whatever her boyfriend is. They've been together
Did
like
Yandy and Mendices do a spiritual marriage?
they did because she didn't want to, get married by now because they were going to take care of them because he owed money to the government and they were going to take their money. But she was smart, they get the end, the relationship didn't last anyway. So she was really smart, but they were mostly committed to each other, had kids together.
Hmm.
Until,
That's true.
they were not committed. But I think Yandy is a good person that you brought up because she was single in her marriage. She was lonely. And I mean, BC had the emotional maturity of a father.
Good.
And so that's single but married. That's what I wanted to say. You said it exactly right, Mary. Well, the part about one person seems to be in that relationship, not two people. Even if like when you're single but married, because clearly, I think that's a great example right there. One person's committed, and I think the annoying part is when somebody leads them on. Like, why are you leading somebody on if you don't? Why? Why? Because you think you'll find something better? Then let the person go so they can find somebody else instead of leading them on.
Let me tell you what makes piss me off, like dating, particularly men, right? Is that men want Men will go online and say they want a committed relationship, right? So, well, they would say they want a committed relationship. But then they go on, but don't show the commitment, right? And then they lie. And really, they just want something casual. But the problem is they don't want to date another girl that's wants a casual relationship because when God forbid, a woman is living sexually free and she out there doing her thing, just like you try to do your thing. But no, you want to manipulate and get the woman who wants the commitment, who wants to be, wants that one-on-one relationship, who wants that one name. And you want to manipulate her and hurt her into believing that's what you want too, just so that you can have that relationship with her and use her up, right? Instead of being with if you want to be a whore, find another woman that wants to also live that lifestyle with you.
Exactly. And then you'll find what you need. It's time out for that. It's time out for trying to get dragged to get the opposite and make these other women drag them through the mud and hurt them and make them feel bad. And women do it too. Some women do it too. They see men that they know have a really good heart and they know that they want a good woman. Some women do it too. We'll drag them down and play them along until we get what we want. And then it's, oh, I never really wanted this. And when whole time you just wanted to play around and you should have went and got somebody.
Yeah.
But see, it's easier, that's not who you want though. Those not be the ones that they want. They want the ones that are easier because they want a relationship. You know what I mean? They're more inclined, I guess.
But so my thing is that you always trying to, what I tend to see, like I'll see, even like, of course, you can't rage social media off real life, but these men would say that like, look, I want a virgin woman. Of course, they ain't a virgin. They don't slip through the streets. Well, and now they want a virgin woman. But they also want this virgin woman to then be in a non-committal relationship with them because they ain't go, you have a commitment. They ain't gonna be in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. They want to have sex on the first date with this virgin woman. And I'm like, why are you going in to burn this virgin woman up with your, foreign ways? Go find somebody that you've been, that's okay with doing that. Right? But anyway, that's just my, it's like, be honest with what you want, right?
It's right.
So that you can find that. Why we gotta go on? Like we are in a society now where we are allowed to have different kinds of relationships. No one has to pretend that they want marriage. No one should have to pretend that they want a committed relationship. If you want something casual, if you want to stick around the block, if you want, situationships and you just want to, do that. People are not judging you for that anymore. You can do that. There's other people who want this vaccine, but why lie? Why can't you a marriage and then cheat on you?
It's a great question. Why get to marriage and cheat? Like when one person is committed, they're trying their best and you're just wasting their years. And like like I said, I really researched some of this and it was just that one lady was saying that her and her husband, she did everything for him. She didn't mind whatever financially at the beginning. And then she found out, I don't know how, I don't know what was going on there. Anyway, but she said that they got married, they had kids, but she found out the whole time when he passed away, right? He had another family. And the best part about it is that once she wanted to sell the house, that's when she found out that there was I think it's a lien or something. I don't remember, but he bought the other lady a car or something. And the house was the lien or the equity. I don't know. Want that for the car, for that loan. I don't know the exact terminology. So basically, she could not sell the house because that car he bought for somebody else. She didn't even know. So she couldn't sell a house. So they had to go find that woman. Yeah, they had to find because they couldn't sell the house. Mind you, they're just trying to sell the house. And mind you, she was trying to sell the house to pay for their kids called, I guess the remaining however many years left to be like, okay, let's just sell the house. Let me get something smaller. And you guys, the kids, your cars will be paid for, right? Not knowing she would find out there was a whole nother family. That's scary. And she didn't even find out. It's like, so the man, you don't even know where it's torturing the whole time. And you know the scary thing, the sad thing is, I don't know. The sad thing is she said that to somebody that, well, online obviously. It's sad to her that he never bought her a car. He never bought her a car. He never bought her anything new. But for that other woman, he bought her a brand new car.
I wouldn't have played her role. She met three years the second wife, or she gave him no custody.
And the second wife wasn't even married to him. She was just like, obviously
Well,
just
like a girlfriend.
yeah. That's sad. That's sad.
Well, you can really get this up in order.
He literally, but everything was in order though. He lied to her because she didn't know. She thought everything was in order. The deed was under her, both of their names. Everything was under both of their names. But she didn't know what was being on their accounts.
Well, you leave the alcohol bar?
Mary said, you
Oh,
gotta
and
get your
the
stuff.
one part was, this is the story gets juicier. The woman didn't even want to take the car off. That whatever lien or whatever, because why she didn't want to pay for the car, even though the guy passed away. Because she said no, like I don't want to pay for the car. Can you imagine the audacity and selfishness? The man is gone. You still don't want to pay for the car.
She don't hold, but be honest, she don't owe that woman anything. They had a relationship. This was the plan.
But she knew he was married.
Yes, but she don't owe them anything. Her woman, you right?
Sure, and that's it.
Yeah, the mistress.
Yeah,
The mistress.
They don't hold that wife nothing.
So they had to go to court, find it. Luckily, the wife won. Like she was able to
Thankfully.
get it off her name. But it took a while. Imagine how much money she had to put in. Mind you, the purpose of her selling the house was to take care of his kids. So they can go to college.
That's why you gotta get yourself.
Can you imagine? So it wasn't even the money wasn't even for her. It was for make sure, okay, let me settle the kids so they have some money to go to school. That is interesting.
Like I like to say, don't be blind to your marriage. You know where the funds going. The finance. Because for him to be at the bottom car, he got a big, that's a large amount of money.
Or whatever it is on it.
You don't be blind.
What is it called? I need to find the word. Like, how can you equity or something for that car? Like, your house is the loan or whatever. I don't remember the word for it. That's crazy. Sorry, go ahead, Mary. Like, I just thought it was crazy.
For instance,
And all she said was, I cannot believe this man is still torturing me from the grave.
Torture.
Because she had to pay all those money, like, because she thought all the headache, all the torture she went through was done.
Torture is crazy.
And so some of that money that they were going to use for the kids, she had to use for lawyers and whatever.
Yeah. Well, no, all I can say is that it's communication is important. Talk about what your needs are. Talk about like if things are not going, things are not going, right in your relationship. We gotta talk about it. You gotta communicate.
So what happens when you communicate and the person doesn't do it? So then what?
Then you need to leave.
Because the thing is, she communicated. She was on the deed. She was in every single thing of the house. She communicated.
Yeah,
And
he's on her back and did all that.
So then what do you do when that happens?
I mean, there's nothing you can do. And not what you did. You gotta move on. I mean, there's nothing you can do, Abby. What do you mean? Like you did? The man did. He can't do anything about it. He did what he did. He was a cheater. You just, handle your business and keep it moving.
All that money, all those years she wasted.
I don't think she wasted. She did. She was in her marriage. She thought they were in love. It didn't work out. I mean, obviously he died, but She didn't waste any time. They had children out of it. They had some good years.
Well, she wasted because she had to pay all this money in to get her house, to own her own house.
Yeah. I mean,
That is a waste right there.
I mean, I want to say she wasted money. She had to do what she had to do to get her house. When I would look at it as like, you wasted your time. We were in your marriage. She did what she was supposed to do. You didn't. It happens.
So what happens when? So that's
I mean, it happens. You just move on.
I mean, you would be mean to say he did, so that's good. But I mean, we don't want to say that. That's not nice.
I mean,
But
that's
some-
what that he didn't have to like take out.
I mean, because what if he, you know what I'm saying? Like, she would have found out when he was
Yeah.
alive. You know what I mean? And that would have been heartbreaking. He's alive torturing her. She would have said that. But now he is passed away. She don't have to hear no opinion. The mistress out like she don't want nothing to do with it. So, girl, I mean, I definitely can understand the frustration for sure. Absolutely. But sometimes we as women, we just got to pick up the pieces and we got to keep it going.
Yeah.
Even though we want to run around like we on fire all the time.
People say you want to burn it down.
that's
But
easier said than done.
yeah,
Easier said than done.
definitely easier said than done. It can be done.
I mean, are you
but
gonna
it
let
is
this
easy.
man? Like you say, you allow this man to torture you and live out the rest of your life miserable because you upset with them? No, I would move on and live my life. You dead. I still have a life to live. You don't.
Yeah, thanks be to God, you still alive.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna let him make me miserable, live out the rest of my days in miserable. Like, no, definitely.
It just when I heard that story, I just wanted to. It was
It happens. When we first, won't be the last one. Our thing.
Won't be glad.
But the other thing too, like, do people that do these men and women do it? Do they not think about you might be given a disease to spread diseases?
No, they're not thinking about
That's so
diseases. That's the last thing on their mind is a
Last.
disease until they start itching.
They're not gonna be.
Yeah, until they go to the
Um,
bathroom, until
no.
they find out that
Let me
something
tell
until
you.
they from their work. That's the last thing they're thinking about.
Yes. That's why I tell married women, you should still always get checked for STD. Right? You should still. When the doctor asks, you want to like get a STD test? Be like, no, I'm married. Blah, blah, blah. How many women have found out that they had HIV or some other like, communicable disease because their spouses were out there doing stuff that they weren't supposed to do? It won't hurt if you get it. It's not like it's gonna hurt you. You just get a blood test, So you should always get tested. Doesn't matter, married or not. Get tested. It won't hurt. Really? But and then if nothing is nothing, we're good. So I would want to know. Then
but then that factor of trust, then I feel like
it is a blood test.
yeah, but I should be able to trust my spouse, my
That's right.
husband. That
Okay.
but I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
mean, we're
I'm
not.
gonna get my blood test. Medically, I'm gonna get my blood test, right? Not saying I don't trust him, but it's just like,
For your safety.
for my safety. You're worried about like, well, it doesn't mean that you don't trust yourself. It just means like we're just doing all kind of tests and they're just running it, right? And if nothing comes back, nothing comes back. If something comes back, there's a conversation we need to have. I would rather know than to be blind and pretend and it go on years and years and years, and it could have been something that I could have treated, but I decided not to do anything because I just wanted to have faith and trust. Girl, don't say there'll be no no. There'll be no dummy. You know, like, it's there. Why not take the advantage and give you the test? That doesn't mean you don't trust this person.
It is for safety. It's just like a safety.
Well,
Okay.
I don't.
Go ahead.
Well, all I'm gonna say, like, how are we, wrapping this up? For any person that is going through this, right? They're feeling lonely in their marriage. Really just talk to your support system. Talk to someone, get advice. on the next steps. And hopefully you can talk with your partner about how you're feeling. Right? And hopefully they hear you and they're willing to change, right? And then you guys are willing to work together um, so that you could, have a better marriage. But if they don't, I get it.
Yes, and the same for the single person who, doesn't really know where your role is or what you're doing with this person. You may feel a certain type of way and they don't. Trust your gut and go with what you believe. Do your pros and your cons. Make a list, honestly. Because if it's a situationship and you want it to be something else, but you can already tell they're playing games or this is not what you want, then that's your that's your opportunity, your prime time to leave. I don't definitely don't want you to feel like you're in a relationship and the person isn't, emotionally or spiritually making you feel, because we're not even talking about physically. That's different because we actually didn't even talk about physical in a marriage, but single. We didn't even get there because you feel
Like,
so daggone lonely. We already know y'all ain't having sex, but that's probably the opposite.
you
You
could,
never know.
actually, you
We
could be having
probably,
sex
yeah, I'm about
and
to
you
say
just,
it. It's probably the
have
opposite.
disconnected.
And that's the worst. But that will be for part two. Because what they will do is they will definitely leave you lonely. Mhm. They will leave you lonely. And then all of a sudden, they remember that you're there because they start to think with their lower head. And then they remember that you're there. And then they want to make you feel like, I'm like, oh, you see me? Oh, dear gosh. Okay.
It's just for their benefit, for their physical
Right.
needs.
And it's just for the benefit. Exactly. And you so daggone horny. Oh. You can't use your brain.
Just give it up.
The thing you know, your clothes is on the floor.
Yeah,
But
you just give it up.
that's different.
So y'all having casual sex in your marriage.
Yes, casual sex and marriage. But for the people who are single, looking and making sure that you found the right one, continue to just do your research and make a list. Medea said it best. Do your lists. Pros and the cons. If the good outweigh the bad, then stay.
Well, I mean,
Bad
really,
outweigh the bad.
I don't think you need to be more on the list. If he or she, if you want a relationship and this person say, I can't give you that there's no need for a list. Like, it kind of
That's true.
self-explanatory.
So basically, the emotional reality matters. Like,
Yes, it does.
Yeah. If they can't give you that and they don't want to give you that, that's pretty, I don't care how great that person is, how much money they have, how nice and sweet they are. That's important to you, right? That's your values, right? Being in a relationship, that's your, right? That's what's important to you. And they can't meet that. That kind of wouldn't be for a list.
And that's
And
basic. That's foundation.
right out there, that's how it is.
Okay, so let's go ahead and end with a little grounding and takeaway. And I just want everyone to know that just because your setting says one thing doesn't mean that your heart agrees sometimes. So you have to really search way down, real way down. That's that right? You gotta search down. You gotta look down within yourself and see if this is what your Shanana is saying. And then go from there. That's all I gotta say.
Well, thank you.
I wanted to put
Welcome.
out like if people who want a relationship, you're not wrong for wanting a connection, clarity, consistency. I think that would like sum it up. Like people want connection, they want clarity in what they need, and for someone to be consistent.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Catch you at the next moment.